Denny Fox here with AIM Weekend Walleye Series. I'm the National Tournament Director for AIM, and this season is going to be just a little bit different than every other season. What we're going to do is what you're watching right now. It's called The Wrap. And on Tuesday nights after events, we're going to bring you a made-for-the-internet TV show called The Wrap. Why? Because we're going to bring to you the top placing teams from the events the weekend before. We're going to talk to them, find out what it took. You know, all this comes together, though, because of our great sponsors. AIM is presented to you by Yamaha Outboard Motor Corp USA and Warrior Boats Incorporated out of Melrose, Minnesota. These two great sponsors have been with us since the beginning, and I don't expect to see them going anywhere anytime soon. Yamaha sponsors the Team of the Year with a kicker motor to all three divisions, and we're in Wisconsin, Minnesota, and North Dakota. Warrior, they supply us with a beautiful brand new 1898 boat that goes to the national champions. So this is how AIM works. We have three divisions: Wisconsin, Minnesota, and North Dakota. Each division has 4 qualifying events and 1 state championship. We use 3 of the 4 events and the state championship to decide who is going to be the team of the year in each division. We then take the 10 top teams from each division to a national championship the following spring. Them teams get to play against 29 other boats, so there's 30 boats in it, for a brand new Warrior boat, Yamaha motor, Garmin electronics package, valued over $50,000. So on Saturday, June 6th, we had the Garmin Open out of Winneconne, Wisconsin. We sent 90 boats out onto the water. The winners, cousins, Brandon and Mike Pop. They're from Fond du Lac. There's only one reason you're here, eh? You either win a tournament or place real high, and it happened so you guys won the first one of the year out of Winneconne this year. You had 17.19 pounds of fish. You only put 6 fish on your card, which is amazing. You just caught the right fish. How did you guys start out on Saturday morning? What was your first spot?
So I'll start here. We were Friday night, we were a little disappointed. We got the boat 78 out of 91, so we were a little concerned about getting to our spot. But when we started out in the river, nobody was in our spot, so it actually worked out well.
Well, it's always good when you can leave in number 78 and your spot's still open. That usually doesn't happen.
Absolutely.
So you guys are fishing the river in Oshkosh?
Yeah, we were in the river. We ended up catching 3 fish in the river. We sat there for like 5 hours, and then we ended up catching 3 fish on Butamore.
That's you caught one of the biggest fish that you had too in the river, and then you caught another one in Butamore.
Yeah, correct.
Do you think them fish are still just moving down the system right now? Is that why you guys placed yourselves in them positions, or do you think these are the last of the fish coming down the system?
I personally think these are fish that are going to stage there. They're river fish and fish that are going to work that area. Whether there's any truth to it or not, I don't know. But just by the color of the fish, all the fish that we did have were kind of that darker, deeper yellow, which from what I was told, that those are fish that are living there, that are staging in that area, as compared to ones that are maybe coming from the upriver on their way back and heading their way out.
Sure.
Yeah, I've heard quite a few people catching some fish on the lake, so there's a lot of fish back in the lake already.
Yeah, and it seemed that way too from what I could see with all the fish today from Saturday's tournament. They were catching a fair amount out on the lake, but I do know that river bite that you guys were on. I've been privy to that in the past. So what are they eating right now? You guys are obviously jigging. What'd you have on the end of that jig?
So I brought 20 dozen leeches, and I don't know, I think we probably used 16 dozen.
Yeah.
We went through a lot of them. We did catch more shorts that we didn't put on the card. But as the 6 that we caught, I mean, we did have the 112 1/4 on there that we ended up having to upgrade, obviously. But the other 6 that we got were just the right ones.
Yeah, there certainly were a lot of upgrading from 12-inch fish this weekend. I see you guys' smallest fish was 16 and a quarter. So that's, that was big fish for a lot of guys. That was just about as much as they could get. But you guys had a nice 23 and 3/4 and a 25 and a quarter on your card. And them really anchor up a basket. When you were trolling on Butamore, which I'm pretty familiar with that bite as well, what were you dragging around out there?
We were using Selmos and flicker shads up there. We were kind of focused on rock structure. That's me. Well, I guess you can just troll. A lot of guys do just troll out down the middle of Butamore, but we were focused to rock structure. The wind did pick up a little bit as the day went on, and there was so much pleasure boating going on Saturday that I honestly think that helped even create more wave crashing into that shore that we were on.
So yeah, the color of the water was pretty perfect. It wasn't too dirty, but it wasn't clean. So in that 6 feet of water, the fish must have been in there feeding.
Exactly. And they do find them edges. We know that from the past. Is there anything else you'd like to tell your fans out there before we take off?
Not really. Just get out there and fish. It's it can be a tough bite, but it can be awesome at times too. So it's one of those years so far that it's when you do get them, it's even more rewarding than before.
Yeah, it's been a tough bite for me out there this year. I tried the mud a few times, but I didn't even have a legal fish. So and the river is the only spot where I caught legal fish. So that's why we decided to start there. So, but I'm sure it'll change and the lake will start even going better in the next couple of weeks here. So.
Absolutely. And there's been so many tournaments won in the river in Oshkosh. We all know that it's a great big fish spot. Just a matter of what year it's going to pay off. Well, thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for visiting with us, and hopefully we'll see you some more in the future.
You will,
bet.
Definitely.
Thanks a lot.
Yep. Yeah, thanks, Denny, for everything.
What a great basket. I mean, these guys really put it to them. It was amazing. Just big fish. You see them fish? Hey, you want to see some more? Yeah. It gets even out of more control. You know what? I got second place here with me too. John Schneider and Brian Walter. How's it going, guys?
Hi, Danny.
Good. You guys, I wasn't expecting to see you guys up in the top half of that field on the Winnebago system. You guys really put together a heck of a basket of fish. Did you expect to have that many?
Not really. No. Oh, decent fish. Truthfully speaking, we caught plenty of 20, 21-inch fish in pre-fish. But number one, I didn't think that the weights would be so small for our tournament.
I didn't either. From everything I was hearing, everybody was telling me they were catching plenty of 20-inch plus fish. And it sounds like you guys were too.
Yeah, I didn't have to go far for them either.
Yeah. Well, you guys did something nobody else did either. Well, somebody else might have, but I haven't checked yet. You put a heck of a fish on the scorecard. You had a really nice 26 and 3/4 incher to seal the bag off right at the end. I bet you that was a pleasant surprise.
Oh my God. The hearts were pumping in the boat and we were high-fiving.
How did you guys catch your fish during the tournament? How did you guys do it?
You want to tell them, Brian? You want me to?
You go ahead, John. You got this nailed down pretty good.
Okay. Okay, well, we started out our morning by pulling cranks. And the funny thing is there was hardly any wind. And I thought that a fight was going to be gone and we just proceeded to put on a clinic. I think in the first half hour, we boated like 6 walleyes. 21-inch or a 21.5-inch, excuse me, 18.5-inch. We had a 16 and 3/4 and a 14 and 3/4 plus 2 dinks. So it went really quick for us.
Yeah, that's a good kickoff.
It is. And then our bite died while the buddy saw us catching those fish, so they came in on it. Didn't help either. And then we went out on the mud and we started pulling crawler. And about 11 o'clock or quarter after 11, some that time, we got that fish. So we looked at the clock, and it was shortly after that. It was 11:30, and I had kind of figured out approximately what we had for weight. And because we were getting so many 20s and 21s, I said to Brian, I said, if we can upgrade those 2 fish with 20-inch fish, we stand a chance of winning this thing. And we never caught another walleye the rest of the day.
Oh boy, the fish gods got you.
They did, big time.
Yeah, they have a tendency to do that as you try to plan before they're really ready to let you have it.
Yeah. We did lose one fish that I'm pretty sure was a walleye that would have upgraded big time, but we didn't get him very close to the boat. It was on the bite, had him hooked up a bit, and he came buttoned.
So did you go all the way out to the big lake, or did you stay someplace upriver?
Yeah, we went all the way to the big lake, and we were fishing out in front of the mouth, and we were fishing out in front of the Pioneer. I have a little hump out there that it's not much of a hump. It only goes up about a foot, but it seems to hold nice fish at times, and we just kept on passing over that hump.
Yeah, Winnebago, it doesn't have to be a whole lot of structure. It just has to be something sometimes. It's just transition from 12 to 14, or how deep of water were you guys fishing?
Well, when we were pulling the crankbaits, we were fishing in about 7 feet of water, and then that little hump comes up to 6 or 5.5 feet, and then we just kept on making passes over the top of that hump.
Cool.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to tell Fan Nation out there about your day on the water in Winneconne?
Well, I regret now, if you had a crystal ball, it would be a lot easier, but I regret us not going someplace else to try to upgrade those 2 fish. And
that dreaded hindsight.
Yeah, if we would have done, but if we had done that, we could have won that tournament. But you know as well as I do, when you have a spot where you caught really good fish and pre-fish, you get a big one like we got, it's tough to leave something like that.
Yeah, it's extremely tough to go to new areas, especially after you just caught a fish like you caught at 26 3/4.
Yeah, and also, there was so much boat traffic because of the weekend.
Yeah,
and nice weather. And Brian and I talked it over, and we would run into problems coming back. So we left way earlier than
sure.
we normally. So we probably lost anywhere, because we went out to Winnebago. We probably lost anywhere from 2 hours and 15 minutes to 2.5 hours.
I'd agree with you. It's a pretty long trip out there, especially with all the boats and the slow no wakes and all the bridges. And it's a trip to leave Winneconne and head out to the big lake.
It is, and you just wouldn't believe the wave action from all different directions because of these great big boats. It was scary at times, but when we went through 40 Bridge, I said, "Oh no, look at that!" And there were just big crews everywhere. We got past them a short distance past, and everything cleared right up, and we could move.
Brian, you have anything to add out there for Fan Nation about your day on the water?
Nothing. It was just a great day. We had a few ups and downs, and was just unfortunate that for us it just shut off, with a lot of time to go, and we kind of stayed there, trying to stick it out, thinking, we just need to upgrade at least one of these, to improve the basket or whatever, and it just seemed like it never came. It was just
Yeah.
one of them days on Bago that, Bago, it's hard to figure that one out once in a while. It throws a curveball at you.
Yeah, you guys were only 3 ounces behind, but you know what else you guys got? Not only did you make a few bucks by taking second, you guys also were the #1 winner of the side pot. So that threw an extra $1,150 on top of your already $3,200 for second prize. So it's not too shabby of a day.
I agree. I'm happy. If you told me that we were going to take second place, I'd have fell all over myself.
Well, guys, it was a great chatting with you. And we're going to see you guys next month on the bay because, I happen to know you guys like the bay a little bit.
Oh, yes.
All
It'll be
right.
a good time.
Absolutely. Thanks for visiting with me, guys. With all that being said, what a great event the Garmin Open was out of Winneconne. But it was time for us at AIM to pack our trailer up, turn our tail towards Oshkosh, and head out to the Berkley Open the very next day, Sunday, June 7th, out of Oshkosh. We sent 99 boats out on the water, a few more than the day before, and they did not disappoint. You can listen to me talk all day, or we can just talk to the guys that won it all. Bill Borker and Mike Kabazinski. Welcome, guys. How are you today?
Great.
Doing great.
Good. You guys had a pretty big basket yesterday out on the big lake. Not just kind of a big basket. You had 4 fish over 20 inches. That's a really good basket, and there were some good fish in the 25 and 23-inch range. How did you guys catch these fish? Where did you find them at?
Oh,
Bill, would you like to go ahead with that one?
sure. North Shore is where we went to. I grew up over in that area, so I know this time of the year is usually generally pretty good. And after bouncing around on the lake for 7-8 days prior to the tournament, I couldn't find a bite that would stay good for more than one day. So I guess I could call it an old school on them and went back to where I was when I was a kid, And fish were there, and they agreed with us.
Yes, they were. How did you catch them? What did you guys use to catch them?
Go ahead, Mike.
We started doing a lot of trolling crankbaits, and that really wasn't producing for us. We talked to some other guys, and they were getting them on crankbaits, but we just couldn't make it happen. So we started pulling crawler harnesses. Typically, I don't like to use crawler harnesses if I don't have to, just because of the slower speeds and everything. And I like to try to go a little bit faster with the crankbaits and kind of cover water, but it just wasn't working. So the crawler harnesses was the ticket. We found a pot of fish, and we kind of basically just kept going over the top of them, making some turns. And color wasn't really a big difference. We seemed like we had to keep changing. We'd get a couple on one color. We put some mortals on, but then we'd get one on something else. So we had to keep switching stuff up, and trying to keep it going.
Sunday morning came, and it was just like a perfect weather. The skies were overcast and gray. The clouds were keeping the sun at bay. We had just that right wind. You could tell by looking at the top of the water out there on Bago, it's just going to happen because it always happens when it's like that. Did that influence you at all about what you were going to do, or did you guys already know what you were going to do before you took off in the morning?
Well, we kind of had a plan, and it was basically all or nothing. We had a couple spots to check up, but we were pretty committed to it. Our pre-fishing, we didn't find much in some other areas. A couple here, a couple there. So we decided to go to these areas where we've been getting some consistent fish. We didn't get a lot of big ones pre-fishing, so it was a very good surprise to get the ones we did.
Yeah. So it was a small area. You guys were just turning and burning on them pretty quick.
Yeah, exactly. Do some figure eights and stuff like that. And they stayed in about the same area throughout the day. And then the bite kind of slowed down, and we knew we had to get one more nice fish on the card. And we did kind of a Hail Mary pass. We went out a little bit off of our points, and sure enough, right on the last pass, we got one of the fish that we needed. So it was awesome.
Yeah, nice 3.78 pound, 21 and a quarter inch fish to anchor the basket at that point. I bet you there was some high fiving going on in the boat at that point.
Oh, yeah.
We were just talking before we went on the air with you, and Bill, we talked about the $9,000 paycheck that you guys are going to be getting for this great win, and you started to allude to some things that you are working on right now. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure, I can. So I got a phone call from a friend of mine from a long time ago. He's a guide in Green Bay and also grew up in Menasha with him, Joel Knowles. And he is on a board there with some youth programs and gave me a shout out and asked me if I'd be interested at all in that. And I said, absolutely. This year I coached the Kaukauna High School's ice team, and that's been one of my passions, not just the tournament fishing, in our youth up in the sport, getting them away from the screen and on the water, and not only teaching them how to run baits, but teaching them life lessons. And the win with the aim here really, my name was a little bit more, so it was more than a money win for me. It was a win-win, and that's really important for promoting the sport. And that, I'm extremely happy.
That is cool. It's always good that we can give back to our communities and give back to the people around us when we get that chance. And being able to take a lifelong knowledge of fishing and hunting or anything else to do with the outdoors and sharing it with the kids, it's always a good thing. Anything
Absolutely.
else you want to tell your fans before we sign out?
Fill up the field, come fish the AIM series. It's a really good time, and I've met some really great people there and made friends for a lifetime, and that's what it's all about. So with that being said, I guess I wanted to thank a couple different people before we sign out. Rich Bellinger with St. Croix and the St. Croix family. Don Lappin with the Sportsman in Appleton, and our good friend Gopker with Offshore Tackle, of course. And last but not least, my good friend Nick Keelan. Without him, I wouldn't be here today, and he's one of our AIM leaders for years now. And Jerry's Sports Shop and service in Beloit, Wisconsin. They're getting my blowing up motor back on the water, and it in tomorrow.
That's always good to have a mechanic in your back pocket.
Yeah.
Well, thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for being with us. Thanks for fishing with AIM. Hope to see you at the 2 up on Green Bay, and we'll shoot to possibly get you national championship berth, eh? Maybe a Yamaha Team of the Year yet?
I look forward to it.
All right, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
After a tournament like that, hearing from one team just isn't enough. Let's tune in and listen to what the second place team of Greg and Kathy DeKalb had to say. Welcome to the show. How are you guys tonight?
We're doing good.
Excellent. Yep.
Good. You had quite the basket of fish yesterday. From the first day on Saturday, it looked like it was going to be a struggling weekend, but you certainly changed tactics, and I can't wait to hear what you did different on Sunday than you did on Saturday. But first of all, you had 20-inch fish. You had something that even the winners didn't have, and that was 5 fish over 20 inches. And that's kind of hard to achieve out there on Winnebago right now. What did you do to get them?
Well, we were pulling crawler harnesses, not much different than the day before, but the location was the difference.
Okay.
We switched location.
Now, we just spoke to the first place team on the same day. You know what, interestingly, they said to us? They were pulling crawler harnesses. They couldn't get the big fish on cranks.
Right. That's what we found too. We could not. We caught a lot more fish on harnesses than we did on cranks. And the problem was, you catch more junk fish, but you still we caught, the bigger fish on crawlers.
So you were out on the mud, I imagine, 18 feet of water?
No, we were fishing from 16 to 17 feet of water.
Oh, on the last transition.
Yeah.
Was there a water temperature break out there someplace, or is it all just about the same temperature now?
It was about pretty close, 72 degrees.
Okay.
Yeah, it was about the same all over.
What'd you think of Sunday morning when we got there and the wind was picking up and the skies were gray and
I knew that was going to be a better day
yeah,
than it was the day before.
yeah,
I figured.
it was pretty hot the day before. And oh my gosh, there was a lot of boaters on the water the day before.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So we got to ask, what color? What color was the hot color?
Well, where was it? We were running gold, red, and chartreuse beads, and all, 2 of each, and they all worked.
Everything
The
worked.
key was location. I mean, depth. More than
Okay.
anything. Depth.
Scraping the bottom. Going to tell us anything about that?
Yeah, it was actually, running close to the bottom where we got all the bigger ones.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, good. It was a good day out there on the water. You made $3,500 by placing second, but you made a wise decision and entered the side pot too.
Yes.
And by that $100 that you invested, it's going to roll about $1,450 back into your pot on that. So it looks like you guys made just about $5,000 yesterday.
Yeah, it was a great day. Yeah, it was great all the way around.
It's always fun to make a little extra dough.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for visiting with us. Do you have anything else you'd like to tell your fans out there as they're all watching?
Well, I want to say a shout out to Power Pole, Mercury Marine, and Plano for all their great service that they give me.
You gotta have good service in this business. You gotta have good friends that help you out.
Oh, absolutely. And I want to thank AIM for their running this great series.
You're welcome. I love this stuff. I just can't wait to do more of it.
All right, I got to ask you, is there openings for the AIM in Ocano yet?
There is. We have for you out there, we have an Oconto tournaments coming up July 18th and 19th. It's both going to come out of the same launch, just like this one. We're down to less than about 15 spots in each one of them.
Okay.
But yeah, it might be a perfect time for you to get in there because now we can start building team of the year points, and we're going to come right back to your home waters of Winnebago for the championship in August.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Well, right.
Well, thank you very much for stopping by the wrap. It's been a pleasure, and maybe we'll see you guys in Oconto in a month or so.
Maybe so. Okay, thank you, Danny.
Thank you.
Thank you. Boy, what 2 great events we had this past weekend. Usually we don't schedule them back to back like that. We like to spread it out, and we'd like to get a footprint all summer long. But with COVID this year, it really made us, we had to reschedule, and we had to do whatever we could to get the events in for the guys. And I'll tell you what, it would never be made possible if it wasn't for the support of our sponsors. We've got a great rack of sponsors with Garmin and Mercury and Navionics and Berkley and Quality Flow, Power Pole. I know I'm going to miss somebody, but they're all so fantastic that they're just, we could never do this without them. This year, our sponsors have decided that they were going to give back to the fishermen as well. And by giving back to the fishermen, they wanted to do some contingencies. So Warrior has Warrior Cash this year, and anglers can make up to $1,000 by winning a tournament with a Warrior boat. Yamaha came out with a wonderful program called Yamaha Power Pay. So the next great company that we work with is Garmin. Garmin wanted to give back to the guys this year. They did last year, but they wanted to give even more this year. Garmin reached in their purse, threw $8,000 on the desk and said, here, Denny, give them $500 a tournament to the highest placing owner of Garmin electronics that's mounted in their boats. So with all of our great sponsors and everything that happened this past weekend and all the money the anglers are making this season with AIM, we're feeling very confident that you too will want to play with us in the up and coming events. So take some time out of your busy day, go to aimfishing.com, register for the next events. Remember, we got Quest for the Best on the river, $1,000 entry fee, $30,000 payback with 100 boats coming up soon. So go to the website now, get signed up for your next event, and we'll see you next week, Tuesday on The Wrap.